Hey guys, this is David here from the SEAL team, and today we are going to have a look at this 8-channel mixer by Kadence. It's the MX800. So we were on a lookout for something like this where we are a 4-piece band, and after going through some mixed reviews on Amazon, we decided to buy this one. So let's have a look at this more in detail. We'll cover the pros, cons, or how we use it in our setup, and if there are any more questions, you can definitely ask us about it. This is currently priced at 2,100 rupees on Amazon, but during sales this might drop, so I don't know, you can keep an eye out for that as well. So let's quickly head to the unboxing. So here's a quick unboxing video. Now the box, when I received the package, it seemed good. There weren't any signs of poor handling or damages. But I thought I'd share a few observations. Now, this is the box, and you can clearly see that there is no mention of Kadence branding. There's the serial number here, that's Mx800, but there's no Kadence branding. So for many people, that, and me included, that could be a red flag. Just to see what kind of a product are you getting. So let's quickly open it, and we have a manual. Again, the manual says micro mix. There's no Kadence branding here as well. So just keep that in mind. I'll keep that aside. We have the mixer and a power brick. So let's just take that out. Plastic. Okay. Now the mixer has the branding of Kadence as well as the serial number. So I think this is one of those products where they are made in China. So they're not made by Kadence, they are made in China, and Kadence has slapped their branding on it, and they do sell these products. I got to know this even because when I typed the serial number on YouTube, or when I tried to Google the serial number, I did get many other products that looked exactly the same build quality, and they had different branding names or different brand names on that, not just Kadence. So that's what I think is happening over here. Is Kadence doesn't really manufacture these. These are manufactured like by a generic manufacturer, and then Kadence is selling it. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why the box didn't have the branding. Coming to the charger included over here, this also doesn't have any branding. So that's all you get in the box. One thing is good is that the box has this thermocol or this kind of a foam package, so that the mixer, the device doesn't really move inside. So that gives a little bit of security over there. So the fact that Kadence doesn't manufacture this, and that could be one of the reasons why we had a lot of questionable reviews on Amazon. And it's quite normal. These kind of products, which are made by generic manufacturers, can have a lot of quality control issues. So there's a good chance you might end up with a defective piece where something is not working or something is damaged. So see that if you can buy it from maybe like Amazon, where you do have even if they don't they don't accept returns of the product, at least they can go for a replacement, so you get a working unit. So maybe buy it from a trustworthy seller for that matter. Okay, so let's talk about the build quality. The build quality, it's all made of metal. The entire body is made of metal. There's no plastic over here, and it feels solid. The input jacks, if you see, these are all TS or TRS quarter-inch input and output jacks. These were all well screwed in and well tightened, so no problem over there. The switch, the power switch, and it also has a 9-volt battery compartment. Now, I would really not use a 9-volt battery. I think this would really draw a lot of power and may not last. So you're better off using the supplied power adapter. Coming to the build quality of the adapter, it's just average, or I would say even below average quality. You can see, I think you can see the plastic and all, it's very cheaply made. So this is something that might last maybe for 2 months, 3 months if you really take good care of it. The cable length also is quite short. So the good thing is this is a 12-volt 500 mAh adapter, and it's easily available in any electronic store. So if this does get spoiled, it's not like this is a proprietary charger and you have to buy one from Kadence, and you can buy one from literally any shop over there. Now coming to the knobs, the potentiometers or the knobs, these are all made of plastic. and they feel okay. So I would say again the quality of the knobs is average. I want you to observe this really carefully. I don't know if you can see this, but notice there's a little bit on these switches, no? If you see, there is like a little bit of silver lining inside. Now, what's really happening here is that the frame, that is the internal frame, is not aligned with the external body. So this is also quite normal. Even if you see over here, if you have a look, this thing should have been like kind of pressed inside like that way, but it's sticking out over here. So things like this way is quite, it's something very normal to expect, and at this particular price point you will be seeing this. So that would not be the reason, or it doesn't mean it's defected. You have to just try it out and see if there are any defects or if there are any problems with the same. This product is marketed as a 4-channel mixer if you want to use stereo, and an 8-channel mixer if you want to use mono. It's mentioned here, like there's a switch, so it can be used as a 4-channel stereo mixer or an 8-channel mono mixer. Now, in this particular unit, there's no, I don't think so, I can use the stereo channel, and that's simply because this output B doesn't work. Only the output A works. So stereo is not an option for me. But again, I didn't really buy it for the stereo. I bought it to use 8 inputs. So I'm not really worried. So I wouldn't really go ahead and return or ask for a replacement. But a lot of the reviews, I would like to point out also, they mentioned that the stereo separation is very inconsistent. That means maybe output B would be softer or output A would be softer, and they found a tough time getting a proper uniform stereo panning. So if you're buying this thinking that I would like to use, or I would like to have that stereo feature, I think this might not be a really good option. So I think I would highlight that point for someone who's buying it and trying to expect really good stereo quality from the same. Another thing is that there are no effects over here. Most mixers, I think they have, if you see Yamaha and all these mixers, they have built-in effects. They have delay, echo, reverb, um, which you can activate. They even have separate EQ like bass, treble, mids. So this doesn't have all of that. You can see that just for every single channel, there's just one volume knob, or you can say a gain knob, that will boost the volume and will reduce the volume. So you will have to rely on the PA which you're using. The PA should have like maybe an EQ built in, or if it has effects, then well and good, you can get more sounds. But on its own, the mixer doesn't really have those functions. Coming to these switches over here, because we spoke about the knobs, the color difference is only because they wanted to keep channel B and channel A separate. So, but if you're using it as an 8 input, they are just individual volume knobs only. Coming to these switches over here, it says mic and line. So it's the only difference over here between line and mic is that the moment you put it on mic, you will get a little more volume since it has more gain. If you put it on line, it's going to be a little more softer. So I normally keep it on mic only for my applications, and we'll see about that also, like how we use this particular mixer. And this is the master volume or master gain, like that way. Quite simple. Anything here? There's a power switch over here and the power supply input. Yeah, I think that's all for the features. Another thing, I think this is quite obvious, but I can still cover it. You can see that the inputs and outputs all use TS quarter-inch cables or TRS quarter-inch cables. So you can't really use a mic with an XLR cable over here. If you have an XLR male and female mic cable, you might have to buy an XLR cable which will connect to your mic, and then it should have, if you have to put it into this, it should have the TS or TRS quarter-inch connection. So that's all for the features, and I think in the next part of the video I'll just show you how we use this particular mixer in our setup. We are a 4-piece band, so maybe it'll give you an idea. So guys, this is the rehearsal space where we actually meet up, and you can see that I have 3 mics over there, and their connections basically go together into this mixer. So that's the 2 blue wires, and the red wire that you see over there are actually going into 3 out of the 8 inputs. Now you can see this maroon wire over here. It comes under the output. So this maroon wire is actually going and feeding into this huge PA system that we have. So all 3 mics will be heard on this. Now, in addition to that, since I've only used 3 out of the 8 inputs, let's focus this over here. Yep, you see that I still have 5 inputs left. That means I can add in a semi-acoustic guitar, a keyboard, an electric drum, or even a bass guitar for that matter. And they'll all be connected and routed to the final the PA system. So that's the setup that I have. I feel this is the most ideal setup. Very simple to understand, and if you had any doubts, you can definitely comment in the comment section or ask questions over there. So for my final thoughts about this product, I've actually made a note as well. Um, do not buy it if you are looking for that stereo sound. So if you think that, oh wow, this is a really cool budget mixer and I'm getting stereo um, channels over here, stereo outputs over here, you will be disappointed, as we did cover on that in the earlier part of the video. In my case, the one of the output B itself is not working, so I'm using it like a mono mixer. But for those of them who have actually reviewed the product, they have actually seen, or they had both the outputs working, but they were very inconsistent in volume, so they were not a uniform stereo at all. So you are going to be a little upset about that. With regards to, let's say if you're a sound guy, okay, and you do provide sound for maybe bands and artists at different venues, I would still not rely on this one. I would rather go for a branded like a Yamaha or a Mackie sound mixers, which are more reliable. They also give you effects like equalization control, especially if there's a mic and a guitar. And even sometimes if you put more money, you can even get those special effects like delay and echo. So this simply doesn't have it. It only has an individual gain control over here. So for sound guys, again, I think there are better options, but obviously much more expensive. So who should exactly buy this, or who would rather want this? So if you're on a budget, number one, that's there. And if you're probably looking at something for home karaoke, this will work just fine over there in that kind of a setup. Or if you have a very minimalist setup, maybe you're just having some time to time, you'll have some speeches, so you'll connect maybe 3 or 4 mics. Or maybe if you're having some worship sessions and you're really on a tight budget over here, so you maybe want to connect 3 or 4 mics, and even an acoustic guitar over there can be connected. So in this kind of a setup, it really works well. Another really cool thing, I think, bands who are starting out, right? Because when they meet up for rehearsals, they all have different voltages of amps. Like a bass player will have maybe a 50-watt amp, a guitarist might have a 10-watt amp, and then they will not be able to play with the drummer who probably has an electric kit and he has a different sound setup for himself. So if you actually have a PA system and there's only like one input on that, the mixer like this way can definitely help, because it will give you a uniform thing and you all will be able to hear yourselves from a single source speaker. So that's really good. And for bands, because I know a lot of bands and musicians now are starting off, and a lot of you guys invest in something like this, right? This is a Focusrite sound card or audio interface, you can call it. There are different brands as well. But what I have noticed, and this is just like a pro tip for those of you who don't understand the functions, a mixer and an audio interface work completely differently. So an audio interface, it's very good for recording your guitar parts and recording your vocals into the computer for your use, or if you want to sample all these things. Do not use this as a mixer, or don't think like, oh yes, if the PA has only one input but this is giving me two, so I can buy a bigger one, probably will give me more control. Do not use this as a mixer or like a live mixer, because you can fry the system. And if you see these boxes or these audio interfaces are quite expensive as compared to this. Like, I think the Focusrite, at least the Focusrite, if you buy this simple 2x2 also, you'll end up paying at least 11,000 rupees. While in this case, okay, this is meant only for live. So you're using it correctly in the setup, or in the setup that I showed you. If that's the setup you want to go for, you're using it correctly. Even if it does get spoiled, okay, and if you're a band, you guys can contribute and buy another one, or you guys will not face that kind of a loss. So yeah, for those of you who have been using this, because I know a lot of the musicians buy this nowadays, it's really good to have like a home studio setup. But if you've been using this as a mixer, please don't do that. Please stop using it, in fact, and don't really go down that road, because you run a chance of getting this spoiled. This would be more ideal for you. All right. So that's about the Cadence Mx800. It's a mixer. It's a cheaply made mixer, I would say, with a good build quality. But I would say it's a good mixer with with an asterisk over there because it has to be used in a particular way. And I think an ideal setup would be the one which I showed you in this video. So yeah, it's not meant for everybody, but again, it's not trash. So if you want to know more about this product, feel free to leave a comment or ask a question in the comment section below. And if you guys like such kind of videos, okay, because these are products that we don't just call for reviews, they are actually things that we invest in when we buy. So, and then I share my thoughts and my honest opinions on the same. So a like will definitely help. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this way and more reviews of gears that we use. And do share this video for with any musician friends of yours who probably might find this useful. And I'll see you in another video.